Okay, so I've gotten my envelope punch board, and I've got my 11 by 11 inch square piece of cardstock, and my first punch and score line will be at 4 3/4. So I've already done that. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this down to the 5 1/8, and that is the last measurement on the punch board. So I'm going to punch and score. Okay, then I'm going to turn it 180 degrees, and I'm going to go to the 4 3/4 inch. And punch and score. And then again to the 5 1/8. Okay, and now you can go ahead and just line up your score marks to do the other two sides of your cardstock. So line up the little tab with the top, and then punch, and then line it up with the second one and punch, and I'll come back when I have that done. Okay, now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and round our corners. And I think we're done with our punch board, so I'll set that aside. And now we're going to go ahead and burnish all our score lines. So there'll be 2 score lines for each side, and that makes a 1/4 inch gusset or height of our box. Okay, so all we have to do now is go ahead and remove these 2 small tabs at the top. We don't need those. Now on the bottom, it is a very small tab that we will need to use to glue the bottom corner. So we need to cut just one side of that, and I usually do that on the shorter end flaps. This is the shorter end flap, which are the sides. So I just cut up to the score line. And that just only gives you a tiny little tab, but it still works and it holds the card together. I do use hot glue to glue that, so I'm going to glue those 2 little tabs, and then I'll come back and then I'll glue the 2 flaps. Okay, I've glued my 2 little tabs right here. You can see that tab and then that tab right there. So what I usually do is I go ahead and add my card, and that way it helps to have a little bit of a flat surface as I glue my 2 flaps down. So I'm going to use my glue gun because this is kind of a thick cardstock. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some hot glue right here and then press that down. Same thing on this side. And then press that down. And there we have our adorable envelope for our card. And it has lots of dimension, but lays flat in order for you to mail. So that's that envelope. Now for this card that is practically flat, I didn't need to make any height to my envelope, so it didn't have any embellishments on the top. So this is just a regular size envelope, and for that one you need to cut your cardstock at 11 inches square to begin with, and then you will punch at 6 1/8, and that makes just a regular flat envelope. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. Okay, so for the tutorial on how to make the box, I'm going to use the square shape dies. So you need a set of nesting dies. These are the ones I have. And then 3 pieces of cardstock. And they should measure, 2 pieces will measure 9.5 by 6. So that's 9.5 by 6. And then you're going to score at 2 inches. And then flip it around and score it at 2 inches. And do exactly the same thing on, excuse me. Do exactly the same thing on the other side and on your second piece that measures the same exact size. Now for your third piece, you need to have a 7.5 inch cardstock, and you're going to score it at 1 inch. So this is 7.5 by 6. Then you'll score it at 1 inch on that side, just flip it around and score it at 1 inch on the other end. Okay, so I'm going to clean up this area and then I'll come back. Okay, now I have all my lines scored and folded, and as you can see, you have the 2 pieces that are identical. One will be your back piece, one will be your front piece, and then this is the piece that will go in the center. So that'll lay like that, and then this will lay like this, and then that's what the inside should look like. Let me see if I can show you that. So you'll have 3 sections. Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and cut our shape on the front panel and the center piece. This piece here, you can just decorate the back however you like, and I'm not going to do the decorating. I'm just going to show you the basics of this, and then you can be creative and do your own scenes, but I'm just going to help you with the construction of the card. So I picked out my dies, and this one, I've got this piece here, and let me just measure it in case you need to find out what the size of this die is. This one measures, let me see the cut line. Looks like it measures 4 3/4 for the cut line. So what I do next is I go ahead and center it, and then run it through my die cutting machine and cut out the inside of my top piece. This is the top piece. Don't get mixed up with the smaller one. Okay, so the larger die or opening will be on the outside. Okay, so you run that through your die cutting machine, and this is what you get. So now you have your back piece and your front piece. Now on this one, which is the centerpiece, you want to have a smaller opening. So here is the next size die, and this one measures about 2 1/4 inches. No, 4 1/4 inches. Yes, 4 1/4 inches. And as you can see, they nest very nicely. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this piece and the centerpiece and line them up on the inside of each other. Just butt it up against this fold. Just fold the 2 pieces and line them up. And that way you can center the cut or your die in the center of that first cut window. And then you can just tape that down, remove this piece, and then run this through your die cutting machine, of course, with the flaps open because you don't want those to be cut. So once you cut that, you have the next piece. And let me see, I've got so much stuff on my desk. Okay, here we go. And here's your centerpiece. So you have your back piece, your centerpiece, and your front piece. And that is the construction of the box. What I did with mine, I went ahead and laid everything out before I glued anything. And then took a picture of it. I know it would be laying flat, but when you're, they're not adhered yet, so you can cut if you have dies that you want to use to decorate the back, or a seam from a piece of cardstock. You can just do anything to decorate the back. The next thing you will do, I'm going to show you how to glue this, because you have to, well, let me show you how to glue this. All right, so your centerpiece, once you've decorated this and decided what you're going to do on this panel, you're going to glue the right side first. So we're going to go ahead and add glue to this panel here. And I like to use a liquid adhesive for this because it's going to stay secure, and also it gives you a few minutes to move your paper. Gives you a few seconds to move your paper. So line it up against that score line, and then press this panel down, and then push it this way, and make sure everything is lined up, and adhere that down. So that's that side. Now this side, okay, your card is going to fold this way to the right to keep it flat. It doesn't really lay that well moving it to the left side, so we're going to just flatten it to the right. So the next section that we need to glue is this flap here, so I'll add adhesive or my liquid glue to this side. Okay, and while we keep this side flat, close this flap on this side, and there you have a perfectly flat card. Just run your bone folder to flatten everything out. So there we go. So that is that one. Now on the front panel, all you have to do is add adhesive to these two panels here, this side and this side, and that will glue onto the front of your card. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to give me thumbs up, give me some feedback, and if you want me to continue this Christmas series, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care.